Welcome to Drawing with Danny. I'm Danny, and today we're going to draw a suggestion I received from a student at Eisenhower Elementary. That is a variation of Spider-Man, so I've created Spider Kitty. Okay, as always, let's hold our pencils more towards the middle, and also, much more importantly, hold on to your pencil very, very loosely. By the way, if you'll stick around to the end of the video, I'll show you of the 5 current Super Kitty characters, my very favorite one. Okay, so as always, we want to start with the largest shapes. And in this instance, the largest shape is pretty easy to see, and that is the shape of his head, which I would characterize as, well, it's got several shapes going on here, but it's almost basically a square. It's a square with some variations. So one variation is here at the bottom, where it has a little bit of a, almost a soft triangle feel to it, right here. And then the top is, and notice how kind of straight the sides are. See, they're not that rounded really. And the top, and we'll do the ears in just a second, but the top has probably the greatest amount of curve to it. So the shape we want to start out with looks kind of like this. So see, kind of straighter sides and a little bit more rounded top. And let's go ahead and draw the ears. And the ears are, notice they're angled out this way. And the ears are what I call a soft triangle. See, it's curved on the side, not straight. And then it goes to a little bit of a rounded triangular point at the top. Kind of like that. Now let's do this side. And again, notice the angle. It's not going, we're not going to draw it straight up and down. It's at an angle. And of course, we want to get it about the same size as the other ear. I don't worry too much about that. But we don't want them to look too imbalanced. So kind of like that. Okay, now we can of course erase the line between the ears and that and these two edges of the head. Okay, and I gotta get rid of a little bit more of my sketch lines here. Okay, so now let's go ahead and work on the body for now. What we're going to do is we're going to draw just the upper portion for now. So let's go ahead and start right here and here. We're just getting ready to sort of address the shoulders. But what we're going to do here is we're going to go inside there and draw the sides of its torso. And we're going to cut that off right here. So see, if I went all the way up, this would be a rectangle, this shape here in the middle. We got these shoulders started out here though. Okay, now let's go ahead and draw the little shorts he has on here. And we can see how these lines angle out a little bit since his legs are kind of spread apart a little bit. And you can see about the distance here. I'm going to try to address that here. And we want this middle part here not to go to a point, but to be straight like this. See that? Okay, now let's go ahead and draw his leg on this side. Notice the angle of the leg. It's angling out this way. Okay, and let's go ahead and do that on this side. And again, this one angles out the opposite direction. Okay, let's go ahead and just sort of cut that off here. That would be right here before we do his little toes or paws. So the shape of the paw initially is going to be kind of like this, kind of like an oval shape. And notice how that's angling out in this direction. And the one on this side, we're going to do the opposite. Okay, kind of like that. Okay, now let's go ahead and work on his arms. And his arms, the shape of his arms are just pretty much a rectangle with a little bit of a curve to it. And I'm going to stop it right here at the wrist. Let's go ahead and do this side. And once again, we'll stop it right here at the wrist in case we haven't drawn this little pause yet. So first, we're going to just give ourselves just a guide to draw those paws on either side. So this guide is going to be just the shape of a circle or an oval. Okay, now remember, you can always go back and make adjustments if you need to. Make things wider, bigger, or whatever. Okay, let's go ahead and work on its suit a little bit, and we'll come back and do the details of the hands and the feet here in just a second. So he's got this cool little curved line going here for this side of the red edge of his suit. And let's do that on this side as well. Okay, now we're going to go up here just under the shoulder and do that, extend that same kind of curved line over to the edge of the arm. And let's do that on this side. See, I can tell I may want to make that a little bit wider. We can always make changes. Okay, now this is a spider on its chest, which is the shape of like a football, what I call a football-shaped oval. So we can make that pretty good size. Save a little room to draw his legs. In fact, I may have drawn that too wide to draw his legs. I think I did. So I'm going to make mine a little bit more narrow. See that? That way we can add his legs. So yeah, that's nothing more than a football. I'm going to change the shape of my football just a little bit. See if I can clean that up a little bit. Okay, cool. Okay. Okay, now I don't think I'm going to worry about the S and the K inside. I'll let you guys do that on your own. If I did, it would make the video extremely long. So he's got 3 legs on either side of his little football. How about that? Okay, now let's go ahead and draw. Let's go ahead and draw its face. So basically he's got his eye at the top. His eyes across the top are straight. Actually, they're not totally straight. They're on a slight curve. And I think this would be the best approach to do his eyes. Let's just draw a curved line. You see how that goes right towards his ears? See, just the curved line like that. And then we can see about how much space is in between his eyes. So we can kind of establish that with just some guidelines like this. So now he's got these nice big rounded bottoms of his eyes. So you have the nice and rounded. So now we can erase the line in between the eyes. Okay, now I can refine the upper edge of his eye even more. Or actually, I think what I'll do is I'll leave it that way just because it'll be easier. So, and it's almost where we want it to be anyway. So I don't want to get too specific because then it makes the video very long. Okay, so got his eyes done now. Now let's draw his eyeballs. And those are towards the top, sort of cropped off at the very top. But they're going to be as round as you can make them. And then we've got a highlight inside. So let's draw that, which can be a circle or an oval. Okay, now his mask, his eye openings are pretty thick actually, so we could add an outer edge to that, making it even thicker. And we can do that on this side too. Okay, now let's go ahead and draw he's got a hint of a little mouth down here. This little line extending, leading to its mouth. And the rest of these are just web indications. Okay, now let's go ahead and do this paw on this side. And then we'll do the glove after we finish this. So let's go ahead and draw just a curved line extending from this part of the oval. See that? It's real subtle, but it's an important thing. See that? So now we're going to do that 3 other times. So we're going to go a little bit longer here. 1, and over here, 2, and over here, 3. See that? When we finish that, we can erase the original simple oval, and now we have more of this look. So let's try it on this side. So we got 1 just extended out just beyond the edge of the circle or the oval. Erase that. Let's go ahead and do that twice, 3 more times on this side. 1, and then 2, and 3. Now we can erase the lines from the original oval, and now we can also erase the line that separated the hand or the paw from the arm. Okay, now let's go ahead and draw the glove. He's got these really tall gloves. You can see the edge of it here. So there's the glove on that side. Let's go ahead and do it over here. Okay, now let's go ahead and erase this line here in the middle. So we've transformed this area. There we go. Okay, now let's go ahead and draw its little paws, or his feet. So we're going to go ahead and just curve it here, indicating this first little toe. And then we're going to go and do that on this side, second toe, and lastly the final toe on that side. And let's try that on this side. I'm going to go curve underneath and draw the first little toe, and do the second toe and the third toe. Then we can erase our guidelines so we can see it better. And I'm going to also erase the bottom edge of the rectangles that we had for its legs, and I'm going to draw this toe a little bit better. There we go, a little bit better. Okay, now let's go ahead and draw the top edge of its little boot on either side. And go underneath that to finish it out. Clean up my lines. Okay, now, so I think let's go ahead and draw his whiskers. So he's got 2 whiskers on either side. Just curved lines, like so. And let's go ahead and indicate his little webs on his outfit. Now I got a lot of cleaning up to do. I have a lot of extra sketch marks, but that's totally fine, of course. Okay, so let's go ahead and indicate some of his little webs by drawing just lines at various angles. And it doesn't have to be perfectly in tune with what's going on here. Although if I ever drew him in a book or something, you know, we want to be as consistent as possible. But since we're just learning how to sort of draw him for fun, we don't have to put too much pressure on ourselves. Okay, let's see. And we're just drawing some lines. You can put one on its boot, and as I make it down to this foot part, I'll go out like this. See that little trick? I'm going straight down, and I'm going to curve that direction like that. And let's do his gloves. And now let's go ahead and draw so we've drawn all the vertical lines. Let's go ahead and draw the curved horizontal lines. So see how they curve in between the vertical lines that we just drew? See the curving in between. So it's curve, curve. See, curve, curve, and curve, curve, curve. Okay, let's see, let's try it here. Let's go between these 2 lines, curve, 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 curve. Let's see, and curve, 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 and maybe another one curved like that. Curve, 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 curve. So all these lines in between the vertical lines are curving. And that's what will create kind of a web look. So in other words, all the vertical lines are straight and all the horizontal lines are curved in between the vertical lines. Okay, lastly, let's go ahead and do its tail. So that's just a nice curve, almost is trying to become the letter U. See that? And you want to make sure that you don't draw the tail lower than the foot. Okay, so it's got a little bit of white edge on its tail. And then we could actually draw a little bit of a ground if we wanted to as well. And that is our really cute little Spider Kitty character based on Spider-Man. So as I promised, and I forgot to get this, oh, here it is. As I promised, I was going to show you my favorite of my 5 little kitty cat characters I've drawn so far. And this is my favorite. This is American Kitty. So anyway, thanks for joining me today. If you have any questions about today's lesson, please let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to subscribe and give me a thumbs up. And I'll see you next time.